Alright, so I got a new setup here in Bridgewater. We have two intersections on one controller with a bit of logic set up for coordination. So right now we have a lagging phase one left turn, which is right here. And that forces off. All that is to do is to basically get cars out of the intersection. Holds phase 8 until phase 4 is green, and then it will give you phase 7, which is kind of your overlap here, and your phase 5 left turn, and it will hold the call while phase 4 is active, and then it will just rely on the actual detector after that, and then it will terminate, and then it will give you, so 6 and 7 is here, 2 and 3 is over here. So phase 8 is that side street, and phase 4 is the ramp, which is right here. If there's just a phase 8 call, it will give you phase 8 and keep these other lights at the ramp green, and it will omit phase 1. The only time phase 1 isn't omitted is when logic flag 1 is active. So there you go. So it forces off, and then it will go for 7 seconds, and then it will force off. So even if there's time left on phase 3 coming straight, it will force off the phase. And then it will give you 5 and 7. And it holds the call until phase 4 is in timing. And I only have dynamic max set up for the side streets, so it can be 20 seconds with 25 seconds of dynamic max. I left it at 35 for the through, just so it's consistent. 20 for the phase 5 left turn, and I didn't want to mess with that. And then 7, just because that's just a force off phase. So now 8's active. So if there is a call on 4, and it times out, it will actually hold phase 2 until phase 8 is green. Otherwise, it will just force the phase off. If they're, like right now, it will, if it starts counting down and 4 shows up late, there's kind of that window. So somebody just showed up on 4. So you can see it just started counting down. So now that rather than make everyone wait, the lights are already changing. So may as well just cut to the chase and just change the lights. So gaps out 1 second, and then forces off with logic flag 4. And then logic flag 2 and 3. Forces off the phase, then all the flags shut off. 8 gaps out, gives you phase 5, even though no one's going left, but it's just to kind of ensure that people coming off the ramp kind of get a head start. And then 15 seconds of minimum green time. So now there's some calls on phase 8. Doesn't look like there's no one on phase 4 right now. Oh, so everyone's going right, so it's going to start over. It's going to drop the call, which it did. So that person's going left. Oh, so there you go. It gapped out. So it holds these lights green, but if somebody showed up it would force the phases off if there was calls. If not, they would just gap out. So because there was no call on 4, it will just go back to 6 and 7 with no left turn. And if somebody shows up on 4, so if somebody shows up on 4, it calls 4, 8, and 1. So basically the logic will, I believe that's, I can't remember which logic flag it is, but, oh, well, logic flag 1, I guess, there you go. Yeah, 2 is phase 1 is timing. So there you go. So 8, and then it's going to force the phase off, which is 4. And then 3 is the force off. Yeah, because it holds 8. And then it gives you 5 and 7 again, 4 gaps out. So now if 2 and 3 is green, that will drop, and it will go back. So, in here, so we got rings 1, 2, 3, 4. If you stop time, hit the stop time switch, it will stop time on all the rings. And then here, it's basically if 4 is timing or is next, it will hold 7 and 5. So I kind of have it set up. So yeah, it basically, if the phase left, like the phase left turn maxes out, it will hold that phase as long as phase 4 is timing. And then once phase 4 is in timing, then it will drop. 3 is, I have 3 and 5 off just because I know the older certain builds of the Cobalt don't like logic flags 3 and 5. I think this one's fine, but I don't risk it. So, and then if 8 is on, if there's a call on 8 and phase timing 6 is on, which is coming towards me, or if phase 8 is next, basically if the top 2 are true or the bottom is true, which it is now, then it holds phase 2, so it doesn't change. But once 8 is timing, then it will drop the hold. So 5 is dead. Okay. Oh yeah, so let's just go through my logic flags then. So if 1 is on, omit phase 1 off, else on. So that's just the omit logic. And then if phase timing 7 is on, 1 is off, and 3 is on, and detection 3 is on, basically it calls the next phase. So basically all this is doing, in simple terms, is if there's a call way back here on the advanced sensors, it will call the through phase at this light, and the same thing in the other direction. If the lights are green, it will call them, but if certain lights, like if these lights were red, that advanced detector wouldn't be calling these lights, only if the lights are green, just to kind of help hold them, they're not changing prematurely. So there you go, that's what's happening here. So if 2 is on, and 6 is on, and detection 6 is on, it calls 2, because it goes 6 is this way, and then 2 is this way at these lights, and then it's 3 going this way, and 7 going that way, if that makes sense. And then if phase 4 is timing or next, then it will call 2 and 5. Yeah, so 2, basically it's calling 2 to force it out of phase 4 because it's a soft recall. So if it's timing, it needs to get itself back out so nothing's accidentally holding. And then it's calling 5, of course, to bring up the advanced green. And then it's the same thing here. If 8 is on, it calls 6, so it tries to get it out of that phase. So this would be more for like nighttime operation. And then this is my call next through logic, which is if 1 and 3 is on and 4 is off because it's a lagging left turn, then call 2. And then if 5 and 7 are on, which is a leading left, then call 6. So if logic flag 1 is on, so 13. Okay, so here is where the logic flag comes on, and they're a little bit out of order because I've been shifting these around. So basically, if detection 4 is on, or there's a ped call, and then phase 4 timing has to be off, then logic flag 1 comes on, omits that left turn. And then also, if logic flag 1 is on, it will call phase 1 and phase 8. So it basically gives you, so it has to call 8, so it's basically making the lights wait until everything kind of, just better for coordination. And then of course it's automatically bringing up 1 to clear out the queue. And then if 1 is timing, so if that lagging left is on, logic flag 2 is on. And then if logic flag 2 is on, then it's saying call 4, so it's trying to go into 4, but it's also still calling 8. So it's still basically holding that phase 8 on. And then when 4 is on, it shuts the logic flag off. So then if the phase 8 drops, it'll basically drop the call at that point. And then it will force it back to, or not force it back, but it will go back to 5 and 7. And then if logic flag 1, okay, actually I have to update this one. Okay, so here I actually kind of cleaned up the logic a bit. Okay, so let's go back to here. So basically, if detection 4 is on, or ped check 4 is on, and phase 4 timing is off, which is, so now it's true here, logic flag 1 comes on. 14, logic flag 1 comes on, call 1 and 8, or call 1 off, because we don't really need 1 to be called. And then in 6, omit phase off, else on. And then I kind of went out of order here, so let's jump to 17. So basically, if logic flag 1 is on, and timing 1 is on, which is true now, let's turn 2 and 3 on. So we'll go to force off, so that's perfect. So 2 and 3 are on, so we'll jump back to 15. So when 2 is on, calls 4 and 8 like before, so it's holding 8 on even if the call drops. Keeps 4 on, so basically for some reason even if 4 drops, it's gonna hold 4 on, so it has to commit to that phase. And then when 4 is on, logic flag 2 drops. It's just so it's not always holding flag 2 on, and only when there's a call. But it has to commit in order to do that, because logic flag 1 can either be on or off if the call's there, but once 2 is on, you're committing. So in this one, 3 on or off, and that means that if 3 is on, once you get that 7-second delay, which is the 7-second lagging left, forces the phase off. So basically, that shuts that off. Like basically, flag 1 is on and timing 1 is on, so it has to kind of commit to that as well. So we'll jump to 19, and then if phase timing 8 is on and phase call 4 is on, logic flag 4 comes on, otherwise off, just so it doesn't hold it. And what that means is that if 4 is on, delay for 1 second, force off, that's basically if the side street is green and then somebody shows up late here, that's the window. It will force that phase off and give them the ramp. if it just times normally, it will max out because it's holding the phase. But if they show up late and there's still time left in those rings 1 and 2, it will force them off. And then those are my logic statements. So let's take a look here. So we got someone waiting. So what that's doing is it's calling both of these intersections. So look, no one's over there, so that's terminating. Red, boom, there's your force off. Lagging left for 7 seconds. Holding the green steady. Force is off, green, boom. That terminates. It's going to give you the left turn. That's going to hold. So now it's gapping out. So basically it kind of gives you enough time where if somebody is pulling into this left turn lane and gets that call, because it goes back pretty far, it will at least hold the call up till 20 seconds or as long as phase 4 is on. But once phase 4 maxes out and brings you back to the main street, then that call will drop. And there's a bunch of fail safes there, so if, like I said, for nighttime mode, if there won't be any unnecessary holds, like it will always bring you back to the main street, which kind of resets all the logic flags and omits phase 1. There's no other issues, and then of course this phase can't back up. So there you go. So yeah, that's forcing off in there. It's doing it again. Someone's coming in, boom, there, it clears out, and there is a call because there is someone turning. 0, force off, gives you phase 4, boom, drops phase 8, and this is to kind of prevent the queuing in the middle, and clears out. So I can't back this phase up because it's a protected, permitted left turn. So I have to, but it's like either they're stopping here or they're stopping here. So this is just going to be better for coordination. Both side streets have a 7-second LPI, and there's also a ped clear through yellow, just because the ped clearance is longer than the timing, so I included with the yellow time. And if I update this to EOS, then I'll probably have a lagging walk, like a 2-second lagging walk, so in case somebody runs the protected permitted left turn. So LPI there just because there's no slip lanes, and one here because everybody's turning left into the crosswalk. So there, now no one's on 4, so there you go. It's giving you 8. So it's just going to operate as a normal phase. That person's going to run the red. They got the green. So if somebody does show up on 4, it will force off 2 and 3, but they're not. So now it's going to go to 5 and 7 because there's somebody going left. So now it's just operating as it should. And then the call's going to drop.